Come back to another Clutch City Entertainment video. It's your boy Big E here, and as usual, I'm joined by Drew. How are you, Drew?
Doing good. Unfortunately, the Houston Texans don't play football on Sunday, but we'll have to wait, be patient, and we'll get back into watching this team that's really grown in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up. Speaking of the bye week, we're gonna do like a fun video here to just help us pass through the bye. As you guys can see, there's a tier list here with a bunch of random players. So these are basically all of Nick Caserio's draft picks so far as a Texans GM. I didn't include the day three guys that are already off the team because, they don't really matter at this point.
Yeah, they don't matter.
But I pretty much included everyone that is on the team. And I feel like, Drew, we should start with the 2021 draft. The first pick was Davis Mills. So we're going from a tier of
Davis
wow.
Mills.
The first tier, the best tier is wow, and then it just goes A, B, C, D, and F. So where would you grade
Hmm.
Davis Mills?
Well, um, I mean, I would say C. Because you ever think about how many third round quarterbacks were able to put on film what Davis Mills put on film? He
Yeah.
really flashed some legitimate starting quarterback potential. I know a lot of people are gonna forget about that time and just focus on all the bad things that he did and all the struggles that he had. But I mean, look, like there were games where he balled out, and you don't see that from any third rounders, and you don't see that from any third round quarterbacks. And so at least a C. You could even convince me to maybe give him a B here. I don't know about you.
No, I was also thinking as a C, just because of, how much potential he actually like kind of showed in such little time around a pretty bad roster where his only receiver was basically Brandon Cooks, and he was then, overthrowing Nico Collins, who we will get to after this. But it's like the moments he had, he's positive, he has a positive record against Trevor Lawrence, which was the number one pick. So for me, that alone should give him a C and should also prove how much the Texans really do own the Jags, that we can beat them twice with Davis Mills at quarterback. But moving on to the guy we traded up for, if I'm not mistaken, Nico Collins. Where would you rank him, especially after this start to this
Ooh,
season?
yeah. I mean, again, so this is the third round pick. It's got to be an A, I think. Again, like Davis Mills, you don't really see that many third round wide receivers. We're talking his position, wide receiver, perform like the way that Nico Collins had. Nico Collins flashed in years 1 and 2, and now
Yep.
he's you know, on the verge of, I guess he's already breaking out really. I would say, he's the Texans' clear wide receiver one. He's got a great connection with CJ Stroud. He's got all the physical tools in the world. He's big. He can run routes. He's a red zone threat. He can get yards after the catch. And there's really, I don't think Nico Collins has any flaws, and I think he has very evident strengths to his game. And for a third round pick, I would say Nick Sarah did a great job there. I'll give him an A.
Yeah, I agree with the A, and I was hoping maybe you could kind of convince me to even go up to the wow tier for him because I feel like while he isn't a wide receiver one yet, and a lot of people are saying the Texans need a wide receiver one, I feel like Nico Collins is kind of stepping into that role pretty well. But the fact that he isn't an established kind of receiver one around the league is what's stopping me from putting him in the wow tier pretty much. So I do agree that it
Yeah, like
is
another
an A.
year or two for sure. Like we could be coming back to this and being like, yeah, Nico Collins was a wow pick for sure.
Yeah, and then, the last guy from the 2021 draft that I have on here, because the other two are unfortunately not on the team anymore, but where would you grade Brevin Jordan as a pick?
Ooh, that's tough because he made some really nice plays in the win over the Saints. But it's just his first 2 years he was so underutilized and whatnot. And I'll go with the D because obviously,
Oh,
he's what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh,
I
he's
was.
essentially he's essentially the team's tight end three.
Mm-hmm.
I understand he was a fifth round pick, and that's cool that he's been able to make the team, but like, it's certainly nothing special
Yeah. See,
in my
so.
opinion. I don't. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what a C is here, but I don't think D means he's bad. D doesn't mean bad necessarily all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It means I don't know. An F is bad.
Yeah,
B is
an F
whatever.
is.
C is mid. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to hear your take on this because he's nowhere close to being a B. If
Yeah.
we're gonna go,
So
nowhere
as
close.
you were
No
like
way.
talking, I was kind of just scrolling with him between B, C, and D, just going like he can go anywhere between these two. And I feel like maybe some of it in his first 2 years could be on the offensive coordinators that we had misutilizing him not, really getting his chances. Considering too, like you said, he had some good plays against the Saints, against the Jags, but he is also essentially the team's tight end three, pretty much, which is,
He is
yeah, I
no
mean,
denying.
Tegan is
Maybe
outsnapping
even
him, right?
four, if you will, whatever you want to call Andrew Beck's position. I mean, you know,
Andrew Beck, justice for
sorry.
Andrew Beck here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he can go anywhere in my opinion, but I do kind of see your point now on why he isn't really a B. And, I guess I would put him on the same tier as Davis personally, but like you said, considering what Davis did as a third round pick, showed some flashes, and that kind of makes sense on why he's a D here. Because if I put him at the same tier as Davis Mills, I could realistically then have to move Davis Mills, and I don't think Davis Mills was a B at all. So I kind of like it now. I kind of talked myself into it, but I like the D grade
Yeah,
for him.
we gotta temper our I guess our tears a little bit. Can't
Yeah.
get too crazy here.
Yeah, so now we're gonna move on to one where I'm sure we're gonna debate on this. Where would you rank Derek Stingley, the 2022 third round pick?
Oh,
Third
that's easy.
pick in
C.
general.
C. Yeah, I mean the C.
Oh, okay.
But it's
We're not gonna
also
debate
it's
then.
also like it's also like we know he's so talented, but like, he hasn't played the full season. He's injured right now. He was injured last year. He's made plays, but I don't know. He was also in a different scheme last year. Like, this is
Hmm.
really like C is basically what you would also, in my opinion, would be like you just don't know. But there's nothing like bad. You just
Yeah,
don't know yet.
yeah. I
So
thought I thought you were gonna give him like a B or an A because I remember we used to debate about him even pre-draft, me and you and Roman. But I do agree with the C. I was gonna give him a C as well, just because, like you said, you don't really know much with him. He's been good when he plays, but the problem is when he plays, it's kind of starting to look like it's not a lot of time. But I am hoping he can recover well from his injury. I hope they don't rush him. Keep him as much as he has to stay off the field. I don't care. This is like your franchise cornerback, so keep him as healthy as he is, and make sure that he is a
I
hundred
hope.
percent.
I really hope so. But at some point you got to stay healthy, and if it
Exactly.
happens again next year, oh, we're not going to be. It's not going to be. He's your franchise cornerback. He's going to be.
Yep.
He's a very injury-prone football player.
And yeah, I mean, speaking of injury prone football players, the guy that
Oh God.
drafted 15th in the first round, Kenyon Green, where would
Well,
you
hopefully
grade
this
him?
would be quick. Isn't this should be pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's Nav.
Yeah, I mean, I put it in
He was
before you
bad
even said
last year.
it.
He was very bad last year, and he was hurt last year too, actually. And then he
Mm-hmm.
got hurt again.
Yep.
So really, I don't really know how you could convince me. If he was a fifth round pick, maybe I
Yeah.
would say D because maybe you could well, he flashed on film or whatnot. But no, no,
15th pick in the first round. I mean,
yeah, can't miss on those.
but now we're just gonna like flip it here because we're probably approaching our first wow tier guy in Jalen Petre in the second round. What do you think he's also wow tier here, or would you put him as an A at the moment?
Yeah, you might as well. Because he had an unbelievable rookie season. Now he's a team captain. He's flying. He's still the same player. His stats won't show it really, but he's still the same player, same person. Flies all over the field, can play in multiple positions. Second round pick too, not a first round pick. So to me, phenomenal pick by Nick Caserio. He's going to be a cornerstone player for years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too. He has a chance to be like a top three safety, top five safety in the league at some point. Definitely in his prime, he has a chance to be one of the best safeties in the league. I mean, he already flashed some amazing, amazing stuff on film, and now we're factoring in that he's going to be learning against with Jimmy Ward for the next 2 years at least. So it's looking very, very good for Jalen Petre. But we're gonna move on. So when we took Jalen Petre, it was because we lost out on Brees Hall, and then 2 rounds later we managed to get the running back that we wanted. Where would you grade Damian Pierce after his kind of rocky start to this season too?
Yeah, I mean, look, I really disagree with people when they call it like a rocky start and whatnot. If you look
Mm-hmm.
at like his yards, you know, I guess before or like, whenever he's contacted first, it's like negative 0.13 or something.
Wow.
That's not fair. You
Yeah.
can't, and the film shows it too. The poor guy, and it's like getting to the point where people are gonna hype up Devin Singletary only because Devin Singletary has literally been given more space to run the football. It's just a literal fact. It's getting to the point where Damian Pierce is unlucky when it comes to just you know play calls and situations. He still looks like an insanely powerful runner.
Mm-hmm.
He will always make you miss. He's gonna make you feel it, and I think it's easily a B. I think that hopefully when the offensive line is all worked out and all healthy and whatnot, and over the future, I still think that Damian Pierce can be. I would say he can be a top 10 running back, no doubt in my mind, especially from what we saw from his rookie year. I think, when it comes to schematics and having a better offensive line play, things are only going to get better. And it's just right now, it's just really, really unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I think I would slot him into the C tier because it's just like, while I do agree that the offensive line has not done him any favors at all, and my thing with him here is that he sometimes I feel like he just looks for contact more than he would just like look for a big play or look for the chance to get the first down. And maybe that's because of, coaches, social media, whatever, getting kind of into his head where he's like, you're the guy that breaks all the tackles now, and now he's like trying to prove a point. I don't know. But I do agree that he's
That's
very,
crazy.
very, very
Biggie,
talented.
that's like kind of like not even, that's also not really fair at all.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
talking,
I'm just talking
and I
like
know exactly, I
brainstorming
know
out
what
loud,
clips you're talking about, and I know what clips the fans are talking about, but those are literally uh, 3 or 4 plays over the course of the season, and to really take a hit at a guy for that, and like because he got called a try hard or whatever. Like that's not fair at all. And if anything, he knows that he can't burn you on the outside. So if he breaks a tackle and runs your ass over, he's gonna get more yards. So that's his running style, and I think that all that stuff is just so unfair to him. I hate to like word it like that, but I feel this goes for everyone that's said that about Damian Pierce. Is that that this isn't a logical statement in my opinion to discredit Damian Pierce because he looks for contact. No, that's his way of getting more yards. Instead of he's not Devin Chain. He can't run to the outside.
I
It's a
mean,
literal fact.
yeah, that's
It's a
kind of
literal
fair. I
fact.
didn't think about it that way, where it's like, true, if he can run over a guy, he's gonna get more yards. And if he tries to run to the outside, I mean, he's not the most elusive of running
Yeah,
back.
I promise you, he can't. Just because there's space out there, it doesn't mean that he's fat. He's not that guy. So when the clip is paused and you see the space, fine, you can call him out, but use common sense and understand that
Yep.
he's not this guy and that he's Damian Pierce and this is how he gets his yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easier for us to say with like watching the film and stuff than it is for him on the field. But Yeah, I do want to ask you this before we move on. Don't you feel like more elusive backs is kind of what you need in the NFL right now, though?
You need to ride the hot hand. You need a
Hmm.
1-2 punch. You need a three running back system. Um, I don't think it really matters. I
Yeah,
think you
that's
need
fair.
good offensive line play. These are NFL athletes at the end of the day. They
Yep.
they can get the job done. It's really not a certain. I mean, I understand like the positionless football talk, and I would love for the Texans to have a burner, but
Yeah.
most teams don't have a guy like Damian Pierce that can run you over and consistently just get extra yard after yard. And you need a Damian Pierce in your football team. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Kind of talk to
And
me.
he was a fourth round pick. Don't forget that
Yeah,
he was a fourth round pick.
yeah, that's true. Kind of like made me see it from another perspective that I kind of wasn't seeing it at, where it's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
didn't
yeah,
know. I didn't know you were feeling that way, Biggie. I thought that was more so like just Jacob and some other
no, I
people. But
mean
like,
for me,
damn,
because I saw like the Falcons games and there was some clips and I was like, yeah, he could have had that. He could have had that. There was a hole right there. There was an opening there. But now that
yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
when the frame is when the
yep,
frame is frozen,
it's easier to
people
to
love
read.
to
Yep.
people love to hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm looking at it from the other perspective now where it's like, yeah, the opening is there, but he's not the guy that's just gonna switch from running left to going right and running down the sideline. So I do kind of get now why this is kind of happening. And a lot of it might just be the play design where this is where you want to run, this is where the play is telling you to run, so you're just gonna run there. But
For sure,
we kind of
for
jumped the
sure.
gun and started the Damian Pierce debate, but we forgot about Christian Harris, who got drafted before him. Where would you grade him, considering he had this like real chance right now to show up?
Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe that his draft position doesn't matter so much more because
Mm-hmm.
he's been given opportunities and he just unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, Blake Cashman is just a better football player than him. Denzel
Yep.
Perryman is a veteran and he's out there being a dog and being physical. Henry To'oTo'o has better instincts and he's a smarter football player. So at this point, it's hard for Christian Harris to do stuff, but I still think that he can be a good nickel backer, sub linebacker that you're going to use in your 4-2-5 packages. He's super, super fast, and he's still shown that this season. So right now, I would still say it's a C because you can't just rely on three guys. Like
Yep.
Denzel Perryman's gotten hurt, Blake Cashman was hurt. I feel like I would love Christian Harris to get more playing time. Maybe we go with the linebacker group on rotation. I think he has all the physical tools in the world, and he's still super young too. So I'll go with the C.
Yeah, I agree pretty much. Just because, there's kind of better players than him at the moment. But I feel like fast linebackers survive in
You
the
need
league
him.
and they
Yeah,
stay for a while. So if he's fast, he's
hmm
gonna get some reps, he's gonna get
like
some snaps.
Kamu.
Yep, exactly.
Kamu is one of those guys.
Kamo was playing very good too for us in his last year.
hmm Wait, no, he got cut.
Yeah, in his last year before he got cut.
Yeah, before the other year, yeah.
But yeah, so I can't remember who went first, Deculus or Criteriano, but I feel like both of these should be quick anyways. Where would you rank Austin Deculus here?
Austin Deculus, is there a grade for like? Well, actually, I mean, he's played one game. Like, what are we supposed to do? This
Just
I don't
just
even
just
know.
put him on the E tier
I
because
feel,
it's empty.
I feel really bad giving him an F, but like, technically, he hasn't done anything. But I'll go just jump straight to Quatoriano. I
Yep.
think he's a B because I think
Mm-hmm.
blocking tight ends are really valuable, and the Texans have utilized him really, really well. He made this really, really good block against Carl Granderson, who's getting paid more than $10 million a year by the Saints, and he dominated it multiple times in the run game, and you don't see that very often. So B, Virginia Quatoriano, I believe he was a 6th round pick. That's exactly what you want from your 6th round pick. He's playing 30+% of the snaps. He does a
Mm-hmm.
great job with the role that he was assigned.
Yeah, I like this very, very much because I gave him if I remember correctly, a B plus when he first got drafted. And then Texans Twitter kind of cooked me for like, why are you giving a tight end a B plus? You know, it's a tight end in the fifth, sixth round. Like, how can he get a B plus? And I'm like, he's a blocking tight end. That's exactly what we need to start putting things in motion. And then enter Bobby Slowick, and he's starting to use him very well. And he's done a lot for us so far. I'd say for someone that really had no expectations. I mean, no one expected anything from him except go out there and block. And he's pretty much done that. Set up some plays. He had that great play as well when we wore the battle red uniforms, if you remember it, where he kind
Oh,
of
he
out of
mossed that
structure.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah, it was out of
yeah,
structure. Stroud scrambled right and then threw it to him in the middle of the field. He found him. That was a very, very nice play. And every time your tight end shows some type of football awareness like that, a young tight end, it's pretty good.
of course. And he's only going to continue to grow in his role as well. I really like Tegan Toriano.
And I was going to move on to this year's draft, but we forgot about John Mechie. I can't believe I forgot about him. Where would you grade
You
John
can
Mechie
basically consider him to be a part of, you know,
this
this
year's
draft
draft?
class,
Yeah, that's probably why I forgot about him.
if you will. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I think we see.
Yeah,
You know, really, I don't think I need to really elaborate on that. He's
he's
made some plays, but like
we don't know much yet. Yeah, he's kind
not
of a
much of
rookie.
a snap share to really say much.
And now we can enter into this draft class, a draft class that kind of shifted everything for the Texans. Starting off with the second pick, CJ Stroud. Feel like this is going to be quick.
A or
Oh,
CJ Stroud. Oh, what?
I was
Well,
thinking,
he's a.
wow.
What do you mean? How can you say that? It's been 6 games.
But I mean, 6 games where he's looked like a top 10 quarterback.
Mm,
And he
okay.
showed, he's
Okay.
been showing a lot of like smart decision making, very good at progressing, going through his reads, something no one expected him to do. Because it was like, oh, look at his S2 score and look at the Ohio State offense where it's very easy. And it's like, no, he's
Yeah, but
going
my
through
thing
his
is
reads.
like, I felt that like it was like a wow draft pick if like you weren't a first rounder and you turned out to be an
Ah,
really
okay.
good contribute. To me, it's like he was selected to be the franchise quarterback, and that's what he is. That's what it was supposed to be. You know, good job, Caserio, but that wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
everyone wanted you to draft CJ Stroud, and so it wasn't like a hard decision.
Yeah, that's a fair way of thinking about it.
And they knew for weeks that they were going to draft CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
knew for weeks and weeks and weeks.
They knew, but no one else knew. I love that so much.
Yes, but yeah, that's always going to happen in the Casario era. But they knew.
Yeah, it was reported today, by the way, just like sidelining it a bit, by Deanna Rossini that the Texans are expected to be quiet till the trade deadline. But then I read that and I was like, nah, Nick Casario doesn't even let anything out. He's probably like working up a deal on Devontae Adams out of nowhere now or something. So it's just nice how tight of a ship Nick runs, where we don't really know what's gonna happen yet. There's no leaks, no reporters just falsifying info immediately.
Absolutely.
But this guy I feel like could be a contender for the WoW tier just because it took a lot to like go up and get him. But I do understand if you also want to put him in the A tier. What do you think about Will Anderson here?
Um. Hmm. Yeah, definitely not a wow.
Mm-hmm.
He has one sack so far. I know he's like top three in pass rush win rate,
And top three in double team percentage, by the way.
and double team percentage. Uh, I'll go B because
Ooh, okay.
you traded up for him and you already knew what he was. It was again. You have to remember this is about draft picks by
Mm-hmm.
Nick Casario, not Will Anderson.
Yeah,
Will
that's fair.
Anderson is an A plus player, prospect. We know that.
Yeah,
But you traded up for him and you knew what he was. So that's B. That's what to me a B is. But
yeah,
if you think
but
he's an A, go for it. If you think he's a
mhm.
wow, put him on the list. I don't care. But
No,
go
for
for it.
me, I'd consider him an A here, just because the trade up took a lot of balls to make, where it was like, okay, you're gonna bank on yourself, you're gonna trade your own first, you're gonna get your head coach, the guy he wants, the head coach that you got here to be the franchise head coach. He wants this guy. You're gonna trade up, it's gonna take a lot, but you're gonna do it, you're gonna pull the trigger on it, and you're gonna move up to three to get, your franchise defensive end for your franchise head coach. And something like completely unrelated, when I watched the mic'd up this week from the NFL, they actually mic'd up Will Anderson, by the way, for the game. And him and
Oh
D'Amico,
yeah.
like they have such a good relationship. I feel like D'Amico just loves him. So I know that D'Amico wanted him so badly, and like I absolutely have to give it up for Caserio, because when you have your GM and your head coach on the same page on everything, that's kind of where it starts, like starting of a good franchise that's going to be well oiled, run properly. And it's like these guys are on the same page here. They're getting the guys they want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
And then we're moving to, I think I missed someone now that I'm looking at it. Was there someone taken before Tank Dell? Or no, no, right?
Yeah, you know who, right? Come on.
Wait, what?
You don't know?
Am I lost?
Yeah, Juice. Yeah, Juice
Oh
Scruggs.
God, right, I forgot.
Well, we don't even need to do Juice Scruggs because he hasn't played it down yet.
Yeah,
So obviously, we're going to move on to Tank Down. I would say he's an A because again, he's a third round pick
yep.
who's he was an instant contributor. He's an electric playmaker. Should be easy. Maybe I should even say wow, but it's only been 6 games, so I'm not going to do that. And he's also injured.
Yeah, I agree with the Tank Dell and the Juice Scruggs. I even forgot about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tank Dell definitely an A. Every time he's played, he's looked good. His injury is hopefully nothing serious. It was a concussion protocol, so it's not really like like a leg injury, a hamstring injury, or something like that. It's something hopefully he can recover well from. But we have four players left, and I'm forgetting the order that they were picked in. But
It don't matter.
yeah, I'm just gonna start with Henry To'oTo'o because I just want to talk about Henry To'oTo'o.
I
Where
would
would
say
you rank
again,
him?
you have to understand that he's a fifth round pick and he's starting in a D'Amico
Mm-hmm.
Ryan's defense. That takes a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and so to me, that's an A. And he people are gonna say that he's always been awful in coverage. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but you know PFF has to chart the catches allowed to Henry To'oTo'o because he's a linebacker and he plays in the middle of the field,
Exactly.
believe it or not. So actually, he's been really, really good against the run, and maybe he's missed one or two assignments in pass coverage. But the dude has the green dot on his helmet. He's the leader. He's essentially, calling the plays on defense and
As
whatnot.
a rookie,
It's
by
super,
the way.
super impressive. He's got great instincts. He had this really nice. It was like a little hesitation rip move the other day. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching film like, ooh, you don't really see that, and to have the balls to do that and pull that off as a rookie, because if you fuck that up, you can get absolutely flamed in film. But he
Yep.
did it, and it worked, and so I'm really impressed by Henry To'oTo'o because I think it's really hard to be doing what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much said everything I could have said about him. You knew how much I liked him during the draft, and it's just like, especially when we reached day three, and I was like, okay, this is the guy I wanted day three, pretty much. I don't care who else we get. I just want to make sure we get him. And the thing you mentioned about PFF, I don't know how people haven't learned this yet. We kind of faced it with Stingley last year, where he was getting some catches allowed attributed to him just because he was the closest guy to the receiver. He wasn't the guy marking the receiver.
Yeah,
But
and we knew damn well that
exactly.
wasn't Derek Stingley's fault.
And now it's happening with Toa Toa, the same exact thing. And you have people doing the same exact thing, going, oh, he allowed this catch, and he allowed six catches,
Yeah,
and he had a 51.5 grade. It's like, yeah, but these
exactly.
catches weren't really on him. He was just playing his zone.
literally, quite literally.
And this is someone I'm actually interested to hear your thoughts on in Dylan Horton from TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Where would
Dylan
you,
Horton.
where would you grade him at this point so far?
I mean, yeah, I would say we always knew John the Grenard and Will Anderson were going to be the starters. So I'll just go with the C because he actually, oh, yeah, I almost went with the B, but no, I'll go with the C because he has a couple of TFLs. He's got some good run stops, and that's really all you can ask for. Point blank, period.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people maybe consider like moving him more to the inside, giving him some plays at D tackle. What are your thoughts exactly on that,
Oh,
perhaps?
you can't do that. No.
No
If
way,
you've
yeah.
seen, if you've seen how just how Rankins and Collins get sometimes thrown around and just completely washed by double teams, oof, it it ain't gonna get much better. With
Yeah,
Dylan Horn, if you put Dylan Horn in the game on first and second down, they're gonna run it down your throat,
yeah,
and it's gonna work every single time because he can't help it. He's just he may be powerful, but he's 275 pounds, and when you put two offensive linemen on him,
it's it's
I'm
over,
game over.
yeah.
It's
Pretty
over.
much, he's gonna get pancaked all game, pretty much.
Yep, literally.
And then, speaking of offensive line, a guy who kind of stepped in when we needed him and has looked good. What would you grade Jarrett Patterson?
B, 6th round pick, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, sixth round pick.
Oh man, I really want to go A. No, we're
Ooh.
going with we're going with an A because not only because he stepped in for Juice Scruggs essentially. He played center at Notre Dame for 3 seasons. And he went to left guard. Now he went back to center with the Texans, and he really could be a cornerstone player on the offensive line because now with Jarrett Patterson's success, we could be looking at an offensive line for the next 4 years of Tunsil, Patterson, Scruggs, Mason, and Titus Howard. Not a lot of teams can say they have the opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, even then, what I like more about this as well, because I do agree it is a B, sixth round pick, held his own in his third game and fourth game, allowed no sacks. But what I like more is that he also offers competition for center. So, assuming Kenyon Green comes back and he proves all of us wrong and he's, the starting left guard of this team,
Yeah, okay.
assuming that happens, you now have competition for the starting center between Scruggs and Jarrett Patterson. And me, like we've been talking for a long time about this, but competition is healthy, man. In the team, when this guy is trying to become the better center,
Oh
they're
yeah, no,
both gonna be
depth is
working
very
very hard.
important. Yeah, depth is very important.
And saving kind of the best for last, someone who hasn't really shown much yet. But what do you think of the Xavier Hutchinson pick?
Again, it's like the same as like the Austin Deculus. It's like there's no grade to give him. But I did like that one carry, I guess the two carries he had so far because they used him out of the backfield. That was pretty cool. Um, you know, he's a good football player. That's what he was at Iowa State. He was always a good football player, and he's someone that can kind of just do a little bit of everything. So I guess I'll go with the B because we know what he can be.
Oh, I put him in the no grade. So I replaced
No grade, that's fine.
yeah,
That works too.
I replaced E with just no grade. And I
Yeah,
have Kenyon Green
that's
under that. It's
yeah.
Kenyon Green F, man.
He gets his own separate tier.
But yeah, I mean, that was basically Drew and my tier here, guys, for the 2021 to 2023 Nick Caserio picks. A lot of Nick Caserio debates so far this season. Some of them ramping up in the bye week because people are bored. So hopefully this, can clear some stuff out on Nick Caserio. And, if you were doubting someone or doubting a pick, hopefully this can clear it up. Let us know how well we did in the comments below. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.